for boxes and packaging and things like that. And this is really an important thing to note too, as a small to mid-sized farmer. Branding is really important because if you want to sell directly to consumers, just like in any consumer packaged goods product, like people need to recognize you and you need to be able to convey your value proposition to them and be memorable. And so packaging really helps us to convey who we are and what we're doing. But that also means you need space to do that. You need the capital to invest. Things like boxes and stuff like that, when you're branding, can be really expensive on a small scale. So access to capital that allows farmers and small businesses to get, product, packaging and things like that on a larger scale is very, very helpful. So that's where we keep all this. Down here, this is pelletized oak and soy hulls. So soy farmers, for example, they shell their soybeans and the exterior would normally be like an agricultural waste product. But it actually goes into the commodities market and gets dried and pelletized because that can be animal feed, it can be different things. So the sawdust from oak trees and the shells from the soybeans get pelletized into these dried products, and then that becomes what the mycelium likes to eat. So in those black bins right there, we take those and we rehydrate them with the right amount of water. So mushrooms love water, so they need the right amount, not too much, but the right amount. And then we weigh them out into these bags right here. So these are called unicorn bags. And they're a special type of plastic. We're not fans of plastic, but there's a purpose for this. So this is plastic that can withstand high heat. And it has this patch here that allows the mushrooms to exchange CO2 and fresh air. And these can go into the autoclave so that we can sterilize our substrate. Some farmers grow on hay or things like that that don't have a high nutrition content. But because the stuff that we grow in the oak and the soy hulls has a high nutrition in it, it needs to be sterilized so that your mycelium has a good chance of thriving versus competing with bacteria and other fungi and molds and things like that. So these allow us to do that and create a really high quality product. And you also have to think about too, in farming, traditional farming, there are a lot of products. There's, the drip tapes, there's the plastic mulch, there's all of the packaging for nutrients and things like that. So although we're using some plastics, it's very, very minimal compared to a lot of traditional agriculture. So as we're building our businesses, we have to think about all of the waste, all the inputs, all the outputs that we're doing. So once these are filled with 5 pounds of substrate, we take them over here to these autoclaves. So, come on around. So each one of these are autoclaves, similar to what your doctors use to sterilize their medical tools, what the dentists use. These are also similar to pressure canners. A lot of you have seen these before, yeah. So these are very basically high-powered pressure canners over here. And these allow us to run about 6 bags each of our substrate. So we have 2 here, and then we recently just stepped up into this much larger system. So this helped us go from 6 bags each to a minimum of 20 bags in here. So this was a big investment that is helping us to scale through our production. And it's also a lot more automated. So with these, we had to be here to open things and make sure that it works properly. Whereas this basically runs like a washing machine or a dishwasher. It runs through the cycles and it does everything on its own. So it's been really, really great. We're grateful for it. So this runs for a couple hours, and then we take everything out and we allow it to cool, and it goes into this tent right here. This big machine on the table is a laminar flow hood. So this basically pulls in air from in here, runs it through 2 HEPA filters down to break out 99.9% of bacteria and fungi and things like that are in the air. And it basically blows a clean stream of air right in front of you where you're working. So you get this pocket of sanitized air to do work in. And Corey will take the sterilized substrate and the grain spawn that you saw in the fridge and combine them into bags that then get sealed, and they go into the incubation just for the mycelium to grow. Now mushrooms, if you think the roots of mushrooms is what lives under the ground, that's the mycelium, the like root structure that connects all the plants and the trees, and it captures CO2 and returns it to the soil. It breaks down organic matter into soil. I mean, it's just so many benefits for the earth. It's literally the glue that holds everything on earth together is that mycelium. So it likes dark environments. So it goes into this incubation tent here. And this is basically just a dark, clean tent for the mycelium to grow. You can see this one is actually ready to get cut. So each one of these is a little bit different. It takes a different amount of time to be able to grow. These are golden oysters. You can see we did these on May 2nd, and it's what, the 17th? I mean, they're ready to go in 10 days. Whereas shiitakes, for example, take 2 to 3 months to be ready. Maitakes, the hen of the woods that people love, those take 4 to 6 months to be ready. So like that's a big thing, what is, making sure that you grow what you can grow in your space in the amount of time that you have to do it. And that's something that we've learned just through experience, really. But like I said, everything gets its own life cycle in here, and we have to monitor to make sure that there's no bacteria, there's no issues or anything like that. Sometimes we'll move things around so that they can get fresh air. And it's all, they all have a different look to them too as they're growing. Like this is pink oyster, for example, and the mycelium is literally pink. It's pretty cool. So, and this is another reason why education is so important to us, and like the work that we do with the schools, and just educating at farmers markets, and what we're going to be doing on our new campus, to really, because people have never seen, if you've never seen anything like this, most people haven't, you don't know that there are things out there that just exist in nature that are just powerhouses of good stuff for our planet.
So who's your customer? Like, who's the end user?
So majority of the people we do a lot of direct to consumers, so we sell at like farmers markets, we ship all over the country, we sell it through our website, we sell to restaurants. There are some supermarkets that are interested, but we're just not at that scale yet. And as far as like the target customer, I mean, we see people across the spectrum, age ranges, cultural differences, where they grew up, where they are in their nutrition. So, the majority of people, though, they're either looking for like a unique culinary experience, or they're looking for the health benefits of it, or both. Yeah.
So Liz, how many varieties of mushrooms do you currently grow?
We grow about 20 varieties.
And what's your most popular?
Lion's mane. So our two most popular products are Lion's mane and our variety boxes. So a lot of people have never had even one of the types of mushrooms that we grow, much less all of them. So like when we're at the farmer's market, for example, visuals are really important. Like we eat with our eyes first. So we combine all of the varieties in one display. And then we explain each of them to people, and then we ask them, do you want a little bit of everything? And usually they say yes, so they could try them. And then we say try them, pay attention to which one you're eating and the texture and the flavor. And then if you have a favorite or one that's just not your favorite, then you can always, focus on that next time. But Lion's Mane, I think it's a combination of like just seeing it more on social media now, the recipes that are out there, and there's a lot of information now about the health benefits of them, like the brain health, the gut health, energy, all of that stuff. So as people become more educated consumers, the demand goes up. So once these are ready, like I said, anywhere from 10 days, even some of them are pretty much ready after like 7 days. When they're ready, they all get cut a little bit differently based on the type of mushroom, like how it likes to grow, and also how it's currently growing. Sometimes it'll start fruiting in the bag a little bit and you have to adjust. Sometimes, you catch it right at the right time. They kind of just do their thing. Like they're like, sometimes we also sell grow your own mushroom kits, and people are like, oh, I'm worried I don't have a green thumb. Yes, Steve. What's that?
3 minutes.
What'd you say?
3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes. Okay, gotcha. So down here, we just turned this tent over. So this is some of the newly cut back. Actually, that one's got some fog right now going. So we're gonna come down here. So in the tents, this is where all the fruiting happens. Fruiting is the actual mushrooms growing. We've got LED rope lights. They're efficient. They provide a full spectrum of light to be able to have like a nice color, nice nutrient content. We've got carbon filtration that brings in fresh air every 15 minutes. We've got humidifiers that provide a 90 to 95% humidity. And that's basically everything that we need. So you can see they're all cut a little bit different. We've got pink oysters, elms, blue kings, chestnuts, lion's mane, elms over there, blue oysters, lion's mane up there, golden oysters.
So the substrate actually will just pop out of the bag?
So we actually cut them. If you see, like, some of them have a top cut, some of them will cut an X into it.
Just let it come out?
Yeah, exactly. And the introduction of fresh oxygen makes them initiate like pins
So you move them as
from one place to another. Yeah.
That's so cool. I've never seen anything like that.
So
I
how long
know.
have you guys been in business?
The mushrooms we started in 2021. The gift products we started in 2018.
So fascinating. So what size is your warehouse?
This is about 1,600 square feet. So each of these tents are 5 foot by 5 foot. So you can see, I mean, this is literally 100 square feet of cultivation space, and then the vertical as well. And then, you know, the other space we're using for the packaging, refrigeration, sterilization, you know, all that. But we've really outgrown this space. So we could do about 200 pounds a week in here. But it's also not the most efficient as you get a little bit higher in your production. So we've been planning our expansion basically since we started.
So a couple of questions come to mind for me. Has the county government been receptive? Have you seen roadblocks with permits? Are you subject to health department inspection?
We aren't yet, but as we're getting into value-added products, we're going to be. And I've already experienced people that, the folks that want to help and provide information, when I tell them what we're doing, they're like, the health department's not going to know how to deal with you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you
cool.
feel like you have to have all of your ducks in a row before you even go to them, because they're instantly going to say no if they don't know what you're doing. If they don't understand it, if they can't fit you into a box,
Yeah.
which they really can't, you know, then they're going to pretty much pose some resistance. So, but we usually don't let that stop us. We just
No.
make sure that we literally have everything in a row before we go for things like
So
that.
I have one final question. Where do we get the cool shoes?
Oh, this is on our website.
Yeah.
So we got mushroom shoes.
That's right. Some good merch.
Yeah, we do. We've put a lot in there, actually. I you know, we like being creative, so there's a bunch of shirts and pants. I have mushroom pants and all types of stuff on there.
Well, we have to move, right, Kim?
Yes.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you guys. Good seeing you.